Why the WTA rebrand put women's tennis players at center court. Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, and Naomi Osaka made their presence and voices more valuable than logos and fonts. The WTA realizes that a brand isn't just a logo, font, or signature color, it's the people behind all of those elements. After little more than half a decade of using a logo featuring a player in full serve, its acronym in bulky type, and the entire package in eye-drawing purple, the Women's Tennis Association, WTA, has joined branding specialists Chapter 10 and Nomad Studio in crafting a new identity. The serving silhouette is gone, leaving only the WTA letters in a more compact, italicized font and both a deeper purple and a copper patina green. Most notably, in 30 and 60-second ads created with help from agency brothers and sisters, the WTA surrounds world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka with players including Coco Gauff, Ons Jabeur, Naomi Osaka, and Qin Wen-zheng to make the argument that WTA venues aren't tennis courts, but stages for their stars' various interests. The Rally the World campaign places players at the center of the WTA's rebrand and amplifies their voices in the process. This isn't happening by chance. Since 2023, the WTA's commercial branch, WTA Ventures, has been trying to bring more investment into the sport and increase the profile of the WTA's players, tournaments, and associates. During its first full year in 2024, WTA Ventures and its co-founders at CVC Capital Partners increased the WTA's revenue by 25%, with an ultimate goal of tripling revenue by 2029. It's about creating a lasting legacy that captivates fans all around the world, inspires future generations, and also drives this sport to a new era, said Marina Storti, who served as WTA Ventures CEO since 2023 after more than 2 decades in media at Sky. For us, it's about giving the players great visibility and giving them lots of opportunities to build fan bases and work with partners and sponsors, but really it's about empowering them to tell authentic stories. With WTA players building brands of their own through business, entertainment, fashion, and other pursuits, the WTA made them an active part of its rebranding and built assets that complemented their video and social elements instead of drawing attention from them. It worked with the WTA's Player Council and its nearly 100 athletes to create a more personal campaign. In addition, it consulted with tennis legend Billie Jean King, who founded the WTA in 1973, just a year after the Title IX education amendment banned sex discrimination in schools, to help capture some of the organization's original spirit while moving it forward. Sarah Swanson, who was Storti's first hire, serves as WTA Ventures Chief Brand Officer and spent nearly a decade with the National Football League as it implemented a helmets-off marketing strategy to help fans get to better know its players. When the new branding gets its first test of the Hologic WTA Tour at the BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells on March 2, she said it will only be after numerous talks with players, including a photoshoot at the Australian Open in which 70 to 80 players discussed what the WTA brand meant to them. People don't fall in love with leagues, they fall in love with athletes and teams if you're a team sport, Swanson said. If you're going to try to market and promote and drive fandom for a sport, you have to lean into your athletes. That was the intention from the very beginning. WTA tennis governing body, the WTA has been taking sets in rapid succession of late. According to Forbes, the WTA is home to more than half of the top 20 top-earning women in sports. It points to both Coco Gauff's $4.8 million singles prize at the WTA Finals Riyadh last year and the $221 million in total prize money handed out in 2024 as signs of growth. Ticket sales were up 15% on the circuit from a year earlier, with global viewership growing 10% to an all-time high of 1.1 billion. On social media, meanwhile, the WTA's followers have increased 25% since 2023. We want to present the tennis court as a stage in which players can become their most powerful, influential, and unfiltered selves, Storti said. It's also about repositioning the WTA from being a governing body to a sport, an arena, and a stage for greatness. As a platform, the WTA is meeting women's tennis at an interesting time. Stars like Osaka have built business and media empires of their own. WTA sponsor Morgan Stanley teamed with Disney Advertising on a Serena Williams docuseries. Luca Guadagnino's challenges brought Zendaya to women's tennis and scored a Golden Globe nomination for her efforts. Swanson said the players' multifaceted interests and the way they drew new attention to the sport changed the way the WTA approached editorial and social content. It drew attention to Caroline Garcia's Tennis Insider Club podcast and Doria Kasatkina's What the Vlog, and collaborated with Mira Andreeva on nail content for Wimbledon. It encouraged selfies and social videos during tournaments and saw sponsors, including Morgan Stanley and Halogic, respond with demand for more player content and stories. It's so noticeable because everybody's scrolling through Instagram every day, and that's our partners too, the people that we want to be in business with, Swanson said. Our athletes are superstars, and so the more that we're able to put them at the forefront, the more that our partners have responded to that. With the players at the front of the rebrand, changes to the other elements had to support their content and efforts. The rebrand unofficially launches on February 28 in Los Angeles with an event hosted by Arina Sabalenka and filmmaker Ava DuVernay to kick off Oscars weekend. However, the new elements make their debut at Indian Wells, with new broadcast graphics accompanied by an off-court fits nod to players' pre-tournament fashion on Media Day. But some changes have already been implemented, as broadcasters and the WTA's site have received refreshed logos for 125, 250, 500, and 1,000 tournaments to guide fans through the levels of events. The more that we can do to help a fan find a way into the tour, it's going to elevate those tournaments and the things that are important to them, to get sales, tune-in, and then their own sponsors, Swanson said. The more that we can elevate each of our tournaments through our brand, the better, and this player storytelling conversation just opens up a lot of doors to talk to our tournaments, content teams, and brand and marketing teams. While the new branding can help point the way, in many cases, the fonts, colors, and logos are designed to stay out of it. The new glimmer graphics on broadcast serve mostly as an enhancement to matches rather than a distraction from them. The WTA and its players thought a lot about consumption on a phone, Swanson said, but they also thought about the fans' role in their brand. Because they're interested in the story beyond tennis, we needed to understand what they are passionate about, Storti said. If you do something that is not authentic or genuine, the fans will disconnect.